This story is about the disturbing and mysterious case of Phoenix Colden, a talented young woman who vanished without a trace from her suburban neighbourhood, leaving behind only questions. She walked out the front door in the middle of the afternoon. Her car was still running, her keys were in the ignition, her glasses were on the seat, and just like that, she was gone. Phoenix was 23 years old. She lived with her parents in a quiet suburb of St. Louis, Missouri. She was bright, talented, and private. She was a champion fencer. She played piano. She was deeply religious, and she had big plans for the future. On December 18, 2011, everything changed. That day started like any other Sunday. Phoenix went to church with her family, came home, and spent some time outside shooting hoops in the driveway. At around 3 p.m, she got into a black 1998 Chevy Blazer. She didn't say where she was going, she didn't take her phone, and she didn't say goodbye. Her parents assumed she was just stepping out for a short trip, maybe going to the store. But hours passed and she didn't return. By evening they began to worry. By nightfall they were calling friends, neighbours, anyone who might know where she was. No one had seen her. No one had heard from her. The next morning they called police. What they didn't know was that Phoenix's vehicle had already been found the very same night she vanished. Her Blazer had been discovered abandoned in East St. Louis, Illinois. The driver's side door was open. The engine was still running. The keys were in the ignition. Inside were her purse, her shoes, and her glasses, but no sign of Phoenix. The car had been towed from the scene, but no one contacted her family. They didn't find out until days later when they called the impound lot themselves. Right away, the case felt off. Phoenix had no history of running away. She was deeply involved in her church, she lived at home, she hadn't withdrawn money, and she didn't leave a note. But as investigators dug deeper, they uncovered another side of Phoenix's life. It turned out she'd been keeping secrets. Despite presenting herself as the obedient daughter, going to church, studying, spending time at home, Phoenix had a second phone. She had a boyfriend her parents didn't know about. She had reportedly started distancing herself from friends. She had even opened a bank account in her own name, separate from the joint account with her mother. Some suggested she may have been planning to leave, to start fresh, to get away from the pressure and control she felt at home. But nothing she did pointed to someone preparing for a permanent disappearance. She didn't pack. She didn't take money. She didn't even take her phone. Rumours began to swirl. One theory was that Phoenix had been kidnapped or trafficked. East St. Louis, where her car was found, was known for high crime and gang activity. Could she have been forced out of the car or tricked into meeting someone there? Another theory was that she staged her disappearance intentionally, that she wanted to escape a life where she felt trapped. But again, why leave the car running? Why leave everything behind? Her parents, Goldia and Lawrence Colden, refused to give up. They organised searches, held vigils, and hired private investigators. They appeared in the media, pleading for answers. In 2018, the case was featured on the Oxygen docuseries, The Disappearance of Phoenix Colden. The series revealed even more contradictions in Phoenix's life. She had been in contact with an older man. She may have had financial stress, and some close to her said she had started questioning her faith and feeling isolated. Still, none of it explained how she vanished in broad daylight. Her car was found just 25 minutes from her home, no security footage, no eyewitnesses, and no confirmed sightings. The police were criticised for mishandling the early days of the investigation. They didn't process the car for evidence. They didn't alert the Coldens when it was first found. Crucial time was lost. Over the years, there have been possible leads, sightings in other states, anonymous tips, phone calls claiming she was alive and well. None of them have been verified. Phoenix Coldon remains missing to this day. There have been no suspects and no arrests. No confirmed evidence of foul play, just a family still asking the same questions more than a decade later. Who did she go to meet that afternoon? Why East St. Louis? Did she leave willingly or was she taken? Her case sits in the painful space between runaway and victim, between freedom and fear, between truth and speculation. What's clear is that Phoenix was a young woman in transition, caught between two versions of herself, trying to figure out who she wanted to be. She was more than the headlines, more than the mystery. She was a daughter, a musician, and an athlete. A person who mattered and still does. Her mother still believes she's alive, still believes she'll come home. Until then, Phoenix Coldon is still missing. Her face is still on posters, her name still brings silence to a room, and someone somewhere knows what happened. If you have any information about the disappearance of Phoenix Coldon, contact the St. Louis County Police Department or your local FBI field office, because the truth is still out there and it's time someone told it.